This is the person who has spent a lifetime blaming everything and everyone for their misfortunes. You know them. You've heard them speak. They have a story, always a story, about why things didn't work out, why they never got the opportunities they deserved, why the world conspired against them. It was their parents, their teachers, their boss, the government, society, fate, anyone and anything but themselves. They will tell you how they could have been successful if only someone had recognized their talent. They will explain in great detail how the system was rigged, how the people around them were jealous, how luck was never on their side. Their failures, to them, are not the result of bad choices, laziness, or a lack of discipline. No, their failures are always external, always inflicted upon them by forces beyond their control. And they will test you. At first, it will seem harmless, just conversation, just venting. But listen carefully and you'll start to notice something insidious. They are not merely lamenting their past. They are trying to recruit you into their worldview. They want you to agree. They want you to nod along. They want you to confirm that yes, the world is unfair. And yes, they were treated unjustly. And yes, nothing is ever truly their fault. And if you stay too long, if you visit too often, you will find yourself subtly infected. You might catch yourself thinking, maybe they have a point. Maybe the odds really are stacked against us. Maybe hard work and responsibility aren't enough. And that is how resentment spreads, like a slow, creeping poison that enters your mind and weakens your resolve. And there is something else, something even more dangerous. The resentful failure does not want to see others succeed. Not really. They might claim otherwise. They might say they support you, but watch their reaction when someone they know achieves something great. Watch how they dismiss it, minimize it, or find a way to undermine it. Oh, he just got lucky. She had connections. That guy's a sellout. They cannot celebrate others because every success is a painful reminder of their own inaction. So they will discourage you subtly at first, then more overtly. They will tell you that your ambitions are unrealistic, that you're wasting your time, that people like you don't get ahead. And if you listen, if you absorb their words, you will find yourself hesitating. You will second guess your decisions. You will start to wonder if maybe they're right. And that is why you must never visit the home of the resentful failure. Not even out of pity, not even because you think you can help, because they do not want help. They do not want solutions. They want company in their misery. And if you are not careful, they will make you just like them. This person has built their entire identity around suffering. They are always in distress, always struggling, always caught in some terrible misfortune that somehow never seems to improve. Every conversation revolves around their hardships. Every interaction is a plea for help, and every moment with them feels like an emotional weight pressing down on you. At first, you may feel sympathy for them. It is natural. After all, they present themselves as victims of cruel circumstances, as people who have been wronged, abandoned, or mistreated. They will tell you long, detailed stories of how others have let them down, how friends betrayed them, how family members failed them, how the world refuses to give them a fair chance. And you will believe them because they are convincing. Their words drip with sincerity, and their pain seems so real, so raw, that you cannot help but feel a responsibility to ease their suffering. But then you will notice something strange. No matter how much you help, no matter how much you listen, no matter how much effort you pour into supporting them, nothing ever changes. The crisis never ends. The pain never fades. The struggle continues because they do not actually want to be free from it. Their suffering is their power. It is their tool. It is the way they control people. The manipulative victim does not seek solutions, they seek rescuers. And once you step into that role, you will find that escape is nearly impossible, because every attempt to pull away will be met with more distress, more guilt, more carefully crafted emotional traps. They will say things like, "I thought you cared about me. Everyone always leaves me. I guess I just have to deal with this alone." These words are not random. They are precise, designed to make you question yourself, to make you feel like you are being selfish or cruel for setting boundaries. And that is their greatest trick. convincing you that your well-being must come second to theirs, that your time, your energy, your peace of mind are all less important than their needs. And they do not stop at words. They will create situations that force you into action. They will call you in the middle of the night with an emergency that only you can handle. They will break down in tears at the exact moment you try to distance yourself. They will weave elaborate stories about how others have abandoned them, how they are all alone, how you are the only person who truly understands them. And if you resist, if you start to see through their manipulations, they will escalate. They will shift from sadness to anger, from desperation to blame. They will turn on you, accusing you of being cold, unkind, just like everyone else who has hurt them before. And this is where the trap tightens. Because by the time you reach this point, you have already invested so much, already given so much of yourself, that walking away feels like a betrayal. But here's the truth. There is no end to their suffering because they do not want an end. They need their pain to keep you tethered to them. They need your guilt to ensure that you never truly leave. And they will never stop pulling you back in, no matter how much it costs you. This is the person who will smile in your face and stab you in the back, again and again, without hesitation, without remorse, and without ever truly losing your trust. Because they know exactly how to win it back. They have spent their entire lives mastering the art of deception, learning precisely how much truth to mix into their lies, how much warmth to add to their apologies, and how much distance to keep, so that you never quite see them for what they really are. At first, they seem charming. They will tell you what you want to hear, affirm your choices, and present themselves as loyal, dependable, and even admirable. You might think, this is a good person, this is someone I can trust. But that is how they operate. They do not betray blindly. They invest in their victims first, they build connections, they make themselves valuable, and just when you believe in them, when you begin to rely on them, they strike. The betrayal may come in small ways at first, secrets you told them in confidence suddenly being repeated elsewhere, minor promises broken, or subtle shifts in their tone when speaking about you to others. You will notice inconsistencies, but you will explain them away. Because when you confront them, they will be ready. They will have an excuse. It was a misunderstanding. It was never meant to hurt you. They would never do anything to break your trust. And if you push harder, they will turn the tables. They will accuse you of being paranoid, too sensitive, too demanding. They will make you question whether the betrayal even happened at all. And that is the most dangerous part, not the act of betrayal itself, but the way they convince you that it was never real, that you are the one at fault for doubt. But it never stops there. The habitual betrayer does not betray once and learn from it. They betray as a way of life. It is their nature. They will repeat the cycle, finding new ways to exploit your trust, always pushing the boundary just a little further each time, testing how much they can get away with before you finally break. And when they do get caught, when you finally realize that they are not who they claim to be, they will not be ashamed. They will not feel guilt. Instead, they will be calculating. They will determine whether you are still useful to them. If they think they can manipulate you into staying, they will craft an elaborate apology, they will feign remorse, make grand promises of change, perhaps even show a few tears. But if they see that you are no longer a willing participant, they will move on without hesitation, without a second thought, without a single ounce of true regret. And here's the terrifying truth. The habitual betrayer does not actually care about you. They do not value loyalty, honesty, or friendship. They value power, the power to deceive, the power to manipulate, the power to control the narrative. They enjoy the game of making you trust them, breaking that trust, and watching how you respond. And yet, despite everything, they always find new victims because people want to believe in the best of others. They want to give second chances. They want to think that maybe, just maybe, this time will be different. But with the habitual betrayer, it is never different. It is always the same. They will always take, they will always lie, and they will always betray.